Taking, just be. Don't take it. Taking, just don't be. And live my life. Don't take it personal. I ain't lying. I ain't hiding. I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. Hey. Taking, just don't be and live my life. Don't take it personal. We just building. It's my season. Lay foundation. Make a name for generations. Please and make a then take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away. Hey, hey. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning or look like you always be working, soaking the moments you live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. I'm in a place serene and pure and free. Hey, I ain't worried about what's the wave, only worry.
Lights off, transparency on. Late night marriage with the riches. Late night marriage with the riches. You need that real talk, this is what you want. Lights off, transparency on. Let's go.
Hey, 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 welcome to Late Night Marriage with the Riches. I am Damon Rich.
I am Mika Rich.
And it is lights off, transparency on. Should probably just cut the lights off when I say that. Feel it like, oh, what I got, lights off, transparency on. What? Hey, welcome to Late Night Marriage with the Riches. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Hold on. Why it don't it look like the Smurfs or something? Hold on. I need to not look like the Smurfs. No, we're gonna turn the lights back on. But it is still transparency on. So thank you for joining us tonight. We are super excited to have you here with us tonight. We are in the studio, the new studio, a little bit, working out some things. And so thank you for joining us tonight. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you. Um,
We realize your time is valuable, so spending it here with us, we appreciate it.
we do appreciate it.
Don't take it for granted.
At all. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Late Night Marriage with the Riches is in the building, baby. So I don't know. I was kind of torn on what to talk about tonight. And I finally settled on just a question. Is marriage in trouble? Is marriage and relationships in trouble? This is like things are just crazy
Right.
about when you hear people talking about these streets. and I just refuse to believe the optimist in me just wants to believe that that it's not as bad as it seems.
I know, same.
Right? That it's
Right.
not as bad as it seemed. The optimist in me just wanted it can't be this bad. But then on the flip side, it's like, can I get more marriages to speak up and say, hey, all of this nonsense that they put in the mainstream about how negative marriages are, it's not that bad. If you say 50% of marriages end in divorce, there's another 50% that don't.
Right.
I need to hear from the 50% that don't. It might help save another 25%.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of the 50% that do. I want to, but at the same time, the way people talk about relationship, the way people talk about marriage, the way people talk about certain stuff, I'm some days just lose hope,
Yeah.
lose some hope. Just some days it feel that way. You know, like, hey man, it ain't what's going on. Hey, so
Yeah, it's a lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot. And in the thinking, I think how we end up in a lot of these bad marriages, relationships is how stuff starts off. So I posted this video and I got just this weird response. It's weird to me because I posted this video, and in the video, what I was talking about is I was saying how men, we have to take more responsibility. And there's actually, I think, a clip from our last show, our last episode, where I was talking about men have to take more responsibility about putting all these bodies on these women, whatever. I'm gonna say this, and people can get in their feelings. I'm gonna say it again. Families are not going to turn around until men take the lead on turning families around. And I believe that's biblical. I believe that anytime God wanted to bring forth correction, he dealt with the men. Hey, y'all need to lead your families back towards me. And so I don't believe that's going to come from women. And that's not saying anything negative about women as much as it's talking about the responsibility and accountability that God places on men. But when so I posted the video, and then a young lady actually said, let me see if I can, I want to read the exact response she said to me.
Right. I think it's just a mindset these days about relationships overall, period, but definitely marriage.
Yeah. So this was her response to me. I believe men would change their minds about worrying about women's bodies if a child gets child support at conception. Yeah, that's been something that's been floating around. I believe men would change the way they think about women's bodies if a woman start getting child support at conception. Ma'am, that there's a couple of problems with that. And my response to her is, "Hey, what's going on, Shanta? My pro- my problem is, and this is what my response was to her. You're solving the problem after the fact. Let's just say that what you're saying is a good idea. That's solving the problem after the fact. That means you already caught another body at that point. So we're solving the problem, right? And a baby. Now that baby is about to have a problem because that baby is gonna grow up not grow up in a home, although they may grow up in a house, right? So that baby is gonna have a problem. But oh, good, you got birth control from conception. Hold on, birth control from conception. Let me talk about how that is such a bad idea. One, if we're going to charge birth control by conception, then we got to get DNA before you can even do the birth control. So now you got to put the mother through a very dangerous before you get child support, right? So now we got to get DNA while the baby's in the womb, which means getting fluid or whatever, which can be very dangerous for mom and baby, if I'm not mistaken, in order to prove who the father is, in order to say this is who paid child support. So it ain't just your word for it. It is that you have to now show proof that this is indeed the father. I like a joke that a comedian said one day. He said, I ain't saying women be cheating, but I do see that most of the time on Jerry Springer, it say he is not the father. Right. So you like is a funny joke in the way he delivered it, but it's like, hey, you got to look at this thing and say, hey, you're talking about something completely different. You're talking about conception of the child. We should be paying child support. Well, that money isn't going towards the child, really. You say, well, it is because it's going towards the mother who stole the child. No, ma'am, that's part of your penance for whatever. I ain't gonna even go down that thing. But let's just say that was a good idea. That man still probably ain't gonna be with you, which means that, and that doesn't mean he won't be with the baby and be in the child's life, but he may not be with you, right? But what that shows is this is so focused on money. If child support would stop men from laying down and having children, there would be fewer children, and there wouldn't be a child support system. Let you know, if we really want to be real about it, there wouldn't be a child support system for real. So
Yeah, it's still crazy because, like you said, it doesn't take away body count.
it doesn't take away body count, and it adds a baby to the equation. Then you go on. Oh yeah. So we listened to the video, and this lady read Cam Newton so smooth because he was proud with himself with his statement. He was proud with, yeah, he got 8 children from 3 different baby mamas, and he thought he was saying something, and I want more children. I know. I just want God to just send them. Hold on. Are we talking about the same God? God, I just want you to continue to bless me with fruit, with these beautiful babies to bring into the earth outside of your system. That's what I want you to do, God. And that lady said, whoa. And she read him so smooth. Like, I saw a lot of men comment, like, she got him all the way together. Because even though she did, and even though, and what she ended up putting down, she said, even though you might be a good father, you got the means, you got all that, you're going to bring these babies, because it's got 8 children with 3 different baby mamas. You're going to bring these babies into 3 different houses, but none of them will have a home. None of them will have a home because their daddy is around, but their daddy ain't there at night with them. Right? She got him all the way together. And while in his approach, in his comment, and you could see on his face when she was reading it, he kind of like, I would say almost a little bit embarrassed at how she came for him. But I actually, his approach and his statement was very, yeah.
Viewers think marriage is in trouble.
Is marriage in trouble, y'all? Help us understand, because I'm not on that church vibe of getting married just to stop to make your sin illegal, to make your sin legal, to so we had lust, we couldn't keep it in our pants, and so we're gonna get married because it's better to marry than to burn. I'm not into marriage for religious reasons. I'm in the marriage for covenant reasons. So I'm not telling you to just run out there and get married.
Right. Yeah. And we've talked about that.
Yeah. That I'm not asking you to go and do that. And the church doesn't do a good job. Yeah. So we say love is a horrible reason to get married. Sin is a horrible reason to get married. What's our other one? We got about 3 or 4 of them. But sin is a horrible reason to get married. Just you be better. It'd be easier to stop sinning.
Because you don't want to be driven. You don't want that to drive you.
Yeah, I don't. Be nice if you turned on your microphone too.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't want it to drive you. Now you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Yeah. Make sure. Yep. We all. No, you don't want to be driven into marriage. You want to pursue marriage. You want to be intentional about going after marriage.
Right.
But I think a lot of people are driven into marriage. Yeah. But yes, who you marry is important, but why you want to get married, even if you marry the right person for the wrong reasons, that marriage that could have been great is not going to be so great. You got to really get into why do I want to get married in the church. And I've heard this we've heard this over our time of coaching relationships and marriages and stuff. That people were like, the church don't teach about marriage like y'all do.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, there's a lot to marriage. One of the things that when we do a wedding ceremony, one of the points that we make in when we get to the part about if anyone can show just cause why these two should not be married.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we say, because we perform the marriage ceremony together, one of the things that we say is this: if you can't help their marriage, don't hurt their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to explain what that really means. God created marriage to be a community affair. He did not create it to be what happens in our house stays in our house.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be supported by community.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you invite people to your wedding. You do not invite people to your wedding so that you can have a big crowd. You invite people to your wedding so that you can have a crowd of witnesses to your covenant, so that those witnesses can hold you accountable to your marriage. So you really want to invite people who are going to be the people who are in your wedding and the people that are at your wedding are supposed to be accountability partners. Mm-hmm. So I want you to think about that when you create your invitation list. The people who you invite to your marriage and their wedding and the people who are in your wedding are supposed to be your accountability partners.
Right. I just heard somebody go, "Oh, my list just got shorter."
Yeah.
No.
The list just got shorter. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole reason of why it's supposed to be that is when I see you doing wrong. Mm-hmm. And wrong doesn't always mean the worst. It doesn't always mean somebody's cheating. It doesn't always mean domestic violence. It means when you are not standing up and playing your role and doing your part in your marriage, you're neglecting your marriage. I am supposed to hold you accountable and bring it to your attention.
Right.
There are requirements of a covenant, and the witnesses are there to help enforce the covenant. That's why when you do go to the ultimate, when you do go to infidelity, it was the witnesses, the people that were on your wedding list. They were the ones who picked up the rock to stone your spouse. It wasn't the priest. It was the community. It was the people who came to your wedding. They all picked up stones to stone your spouse for infidelity. It is a responsibility. Even with parenting, is a community affair. If your child was so unruly and brought shame to your house, you took them to the gates with the elders, and it was your community who picked up the stones to stone your child. It is community. But a lot of times we don't see, we have neglected the community aspect. I've had conversations with people, and this just how I am. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, bruh, if you're married and you're around me and you're on some foolishness, please keep the foolishness out of my presence. That don't mean if I see you doing some foolishness, I'm finna go run and tell your wife. But if your wife asks me a question, I'm not about to lie for you. And my response to your wife gonna answer her question without me ever answering her question. Because if your wife come and say, somebody told me they saw him with a man, and I know you wouldn't lie to me, Damon, or not a man, with a woman, another woman, I could be a man too, but saw him with another woman and up at this place, and they said you was there and you saw it, Damon, was my husband with another? Damon, if your husband was not, Damon gonna say no. If I did not see that, and I legitimately did not see it, I say, I did not see that. If I say to you, go talk to your husband, I didn't answer your question because I didn't tell you no. I didn't tell you yes. I didn't tell you I didn't see that. I told you go talk to your husband. I'm not trying to quote unquote snitch, but I'm not going to, I I am not afraid of man. I am afraid of God.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if I see somebody I know that is married and not honoring their marriage, I'm gonna pull their coattail. Hey, bro, what you got going on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to get up and leave. I can't be in the presence of this.
Right.
But we don't have that sense of community anymore, because what happens in my house stays in my house. It's my house. Blah 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 blah.
Right. I just think the whole thing, even a lot of our cliches and stuff, if we go back and we talk about deconstruct quite a bit, and then just so it's not absolute, because we do say absolute all the time, but I think it's not explained or talked about. So people take that, and I think that's why so many people haven't been to therapy, aren't healed,
Right.
and set free now because of that same statement.
Yeah.
But how you do it, because then after a while, a sense of like pride and ego kind of gets there on some, and then it's fear, it's shame, it's so many different things that come into play when you say that. But how it's done, even going about, so just saying that is one thing, but then how to truly have community or accountability, and then who do you talk to, who do you trust, because it shouldn't be just any and everybody. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why you say it, careful of who the witnesses are, who you invite in to the wedding, your community, to hold you accountable. And I think a lot of times people just want, lots of people, or either their family knows people, or family and friends and all of the things or whatever. And so you just end up inviting a lot of people for sometimes selfish reasons or motives, because you want gifts and stuff like that.
And invite witnesses, not spectators, to witness your vows.
And then again, we're talking about godly marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. If you got a contract, you do what you want to. But if you're talking about a covenant,
covenant.
If you're talking about a covenant, yeah.
And my thing is, do people really want to know, you know, about covenant marriage, about true marriage, what it really is, what it takes to last? Because I think a lot of times you kind of have expectation, or you kind of know what you want to hear, and when you don't hear that, or it's not, the juicy thing, you kind of turn it off. And then what does my daughter like to say? Some lessons are taught, some are brought.
Yeah, some lessons are taught, some are brought. That's a Deshae original.
She don't think you have enough in your bank account.
Yeah, you don't got enough
to pay for some of these lessons. But
I do it. Like, you're gonna be overdrawn after that lesson.
Right.
You're gonna be overdrawn after that lesson right there.
But I don't know, just a sense of truth. And it's just about a truth. And do you really want to know the truth, or what marriage is really about, what it takes to last? Or do you want to continue with the idea of fantasy, or what's in your head? And a lot of times, even the things that, if you talk about them realistically, what you think it is, what you want it to be, then someone could give you some good pointers, ideas, and help you go, oh, this is how you make that this, or tell you you're stretching it, or even ask you why.
I think people,
there's so many things to be talked about.
I think people do want to know about real marriage. They just don't know that they need to know, because they think that they already know.
That's true.
Because of the way things are taught and brought forward. One of my favorite sayings is this: I believe that people want their marriage, they just don't know how to have it.
You do say that.
The difference of wanting your marriage and knowing how to have it is two completely different things. And this is a perfect time.
And then doing the work.
Yeah, doing the work. But that's part of having it.
Yeah.
You can't have it if you don't do it. And this is the perfect time to Sunday, because I will need to finalize the dates. Sunday, we will be opening up enrollment to our 7 our 4-week course, 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. This is for those who are married, those who are dating and engaged, or those who are dating and those who are engaged. So it's those 3 things: those who are dating, those who are engaged, and those who are married. Is for those 3 groups. We will be launching and opening enrollment for that this Sunday. I got everything done, everything set. We'll be opening enrollment this Sunday. This is the perfect thing if you are dating and have a marriage mindset and want to learn how to make marriage work. This is the perfect course for you to enroll in if you are engaged
or want a marriage mindset.
Or, well, the reason I say or want, so
because I think a lot of times people go into marriage with not a marriage mindset,
yeah,
and then make the excuse, well, I've never had anyone. For those who don't have examples or people in there, and then you continue the excuse of not having a marriage mindset or not even wanting to cultivate a marriage mindset.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Because what I don't want is if you're just casually dating, this is not for you.
Oh, true.
That's my point.
Gotcha.
If you're casually dating and you're not even thinking about marriage, like this just the casual dating, this a nice person, I enjoy spending time, but you ain't even thought about the idea of marriage, this is not for you. But if you're dating and you're saying, I'm out here dating because I eventually want to get married, right? Then this is for you. If you are engaged, this is for you. If you are
already married,
whether your marriage is going great or your marriage is going crappy, this is for you.
Yep.
So we are Gottman leaders. So we've gone through the training, the course. It is a very great course, a lot of good information. So absolutely you want to enroll in the course when it drops out, right? So
Sunday, I'm gonna just give that date so we keep in mind.
So September the 1st, ain't it?
It is.
Yep, September the 1st. September the 1st, the course will be open for enrollment, and we will start the course later in September. So you'll have about 3 weeks to get enrolled, and then we're going to go. It's going to be virtual, and it'll be every Saturday morning for 4 weeks from 9 to 12. All the details will be there. We'll be dropping that real soon. So to that end, back to marriage. So talked about the Cam Newton thing. We talked about, just marriage being in trouble. Then we watched a video, Latarius on Dear Future Wifey with the Shires, Priscilla and Jerry Shire.
Oh, I just love them.
And they had it was an interesting interview for me, but I like the perspective, particularly the thing that I like, and Latarius asked Jerry if he would mentor him. And I think that there needs to be mentorship programs for wives and husbands, or wives and to be husbands and to be wives. I think there needs to be mentorship, and that's biblical too, because it talks about the older women teaching the younger women and the older men teaching the younger men. It speaks to mentorship, and I don't think we have that, which a whole lot of marriages would probably go better if we did.
Right.
Yeah. So it was an interesting interview for me for a lot of reasons. One of the things that was very, very interesting is when they talked about the guys who make like the fireproof and all of those, how I know Jerry is a husband. I know he a husband because he was not okay with his wife pretending to be the wife of another man. That man he said, I got to leave the set. Y'all need to go watch that interview. I need to leave the set. That's some Damon Rich type stuff right there. Even though the makers of the film went out of their way to, like, when there would be scenes where they held hands, it was not actually Priscilla and the actor holding hands. When they would kiss, it was not them kissing. When they would touch each other, it was not them actually touching. They went out of the way to protect marriage. And it still bothered that man. Still bothered him.
Yep.
That's my dude, Jerry.
I knew
you ever see this video right here? You my dude, boy. That's a real husband. Cause forget all these husbands that like, oh, my wife just playing a scene. Oh, my husband just playing a scene. Especially when you are talking about they kissing and hugging and in between each other's legs. No. Talking about it's just a scene, as if they biology start working. I'm telling you right now, if I'm an actor, and let's say they gave me some medicine and I'm in a scene, a simulated sex scene with Halle Berry, something is getting stiff. I ain't even finna play with myself like that.
They say they go to they tape you up and down.
I don't care. They gonna have to have. They gonna tape me till I'm hurt. Cause that what? I'm up in between. It ain't got to be. I mean, up all over, rubbing and touching on the breast of another one. Yes, my biology gonna work. Come on, man.
That's what usually happens, right?
Biology works. Biology works.
Right.
So, yeah, is marriage in trouble? It definitely feels like it, but it's not without hope.
Oh,
every time you see a couple like the Shires, one of the things I'm very skeptical about these days is celebrity marriages. Because you have to discern which marriages are being authentic before you and which marriages are being an authentic brand in front of you. When Jerry said what he said, oh, he like, shoot, this ain't about the brand. This dude was finna throw away money. Yeah. This man was gonna throw away money, right?
Yeah.
To protect it. Yeah. He was like, forget the money, your acting career and all that. You my wife. You ain't playing that role. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm reading that with Jerry and Priscilla or whatever, they ain't trying to protect a brand, at least not in that way. But there's some celebrity marriages that we go out and people go and they get all of this advice and they listen to them. And I'm not saying all of the advice they give is bad. Right. I'm not saying that. But they get all of this advice. They get all of the advice. Oh, look at all the advice. They good. And it's like, listen, these people ain't telling you the truth. Now, sometimes the advice will work for you, but it ain't really working for them because they ain't really doing what they're telling you to do.
That's true.
But sometimes what they're telling you to do just sound good. But when you go and put it in the crucible of marriage, it don't work. It don't work. So
throw it in that fire.
Throw it in that fire. It don't work. So yeah. That's marriage is in trouble, but it's not without hope.
Right.
But it's going to take couples who honor it and put it on display, the good, the bad, the ugly, on display to help it survive, to thrive, to make that comeback.
I think what you were saying earlier, that people really do want it. And there are authentic people out there and mentors and mentorship things that are definitely coming about that people are gravitating to really help their marriage overall before the marriage and during and for people that want to marry again or do it again so they can do it right or get it right.
I agreed. 100% agree. So you got anything else?
Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Hey, listen. Listen, this is all we have questions for you. If we got any questions, you can pop them up there. We happy to answer them. But we are getting ready to get out of here, sign out of here. Late Night Marriage, when we go into the fall, we're going to be coming on a little bit earlier. We'll be announcing the new times on when we'll be going live and stuff, but it'll be a little bit earlier. Still gonna be Late Night Marriage, but you know, when you get a little older, late night look different.
When you get a little more mature.
When you get a little more mature, you get a little older. When you, get
a little grayer.
Get a little grayer. Late night look a little bit different. So in the fall, we will be going to some earlier hours. I know a lot of you football fans out there I know for me, for sure, I am glad football season is back. I'm so looking forward to this Saturday watching my Hurricanes beat up on the Gators, all of that good stuff. But for you that are in marriage, you that are considering marriage, you that are engaged to be married, don't give up on marriage.
Don't.
But do get educated about what marriage is and what it takes to have a marriage that works. You hear me say it all the time. Marriage is not hard work. The hard part is being unselfish. The hard part is doing the work of becoming unselfish. Marriage requires an unselfish spirit, an unselfish attitude.
It does.
So that's all we have for you. We will see you on the next episode. And remember, here on Late Night Marriage, it is lights off, transparency on, and we'll see you on the next episode. Good night.
We love you for real. Have a good night.